Well, hi folks, this is number 7 in our Around Moreton Bay videos, and after getting through the channel we're off to Tangalooma, and you can see it's pretty easy. It's between Green and St Helena Islands and Mud to Port, off to Moreton Island. Now recently we didn't have a lot of wind, but today we had this fantastic 15 knot breeze, and we're actually charging along here at about 6.5 knots. We had a lovely sail up to Moreton Island. Not a great deal to see on the way, but here's big and little sand hills in the distance. And you can tell these because the sand goes right to the top of the hill. Otherwise, there's lots of these sand blows up and down Moreton Island, and you certainly can't navigate from these. Getting up to Tangalooma, there's some really helpful lead lights, and you line them up and they get you through the channel into the anchorage area. So here we are, they're not lined up, and we need to go a bit to the north. And here they're nicely lined up and they're taking us through the gap in the sandbanks. And this is the anchorage area to the south of the resort. You can also go right to the north, but it's much busier and much noisier. And it's a great time of year for a nice dip overboard. And then because you're on this kind of eastern side of the bay, you get these great sunsets. And we settled in for a pretty relaxed afternoon doing basically nothing. We did have one treat, and that was this beautiful full moon rose above Moreton Island. So this is the morning and it's pretty flat. A bit of a swell comes in, it's not completely calm. And we decided to go snorkelling on the wreck, so it's off for quite a long kind of dinghy motor. It's a couple of nautical miles to the wrecks on the north of the resort. So this is high tide, they're mainly submerged. And there was actually really a lot to see. There's lots of this kind of rusted and corroded superstructures and hulls, which kind of like really interesting spaces. I was surprised about the amount of fish and also coral. There was a lot of coral now growing on these wrecks. And I think the fish really must be fed here because there's a lot of friendly fish. So back ashore and north of Tangalooma, there's just more and more of these white sand beaches. I mean, there's a few other interesting things. This is a car ferry that just rocks up on the beach and drops its ramp, and off cars drive. Anyway, after a really nice couple of days, it was back home, and you can see, as usual, we're kind of working pretty hard on the way home. Wind was behind us, it was an easy sail. going past St Helena again. But our kind of adventure hadn't completely finished. We got the tides wrong and we got here at dead low tide. And you can see there's only 3 meters of water. And we draw 2.4. So we had to ghost around for a couple of hours until we had a nice rising tide, and we went in on the rising tide.